to your first video. I am so excited for you. This is Ellen Como from Hello Muscle. Today's going to be your first tutorial video. It's going to be about your back, your biceps, your thighs, and a little bit of your stomach, your abs. What I'm going to do is go over each move with you. These are going to be our foundational moves you're going to find in a lot of the videos that you're going to be receiving. And I want you to have the proper form. Now I will have offshoots and just fun, different fun ways off of these moves, but if you can get these foundations down, you're going to be starting off on a really good track. And I'm so glad you decided, instead of a challenge, you're taking on a lifestyle, right? That's what you want, a healthy lifestyle. So I hope you have your weights and your mat ready to go, and we're just going to start right from the beginning. Now, the first thing I'm going to do and ask you to do is grab 2 medium weights. So whatever you've got in front of you, if you've never lifted a weight before, just go ahead and grab the lightest weight that you have. And if at any time the weight becomes too heavy, just go ahead and drop it. Well, don't, lay it down. And I'm going to show you how to do that too. And just go ahead, lay it down, and just go ahead and follow with whatever movement we're doing. And then focus on the muscle that I'm trying to teach you. I love that I don't have a timer today, so I can really take the time to dive in and to teach you proper form. The first thing we're going to learn about is an overhead military press. A lot of people will use these for shoulders. They're great for shoulders, but you know what? I like them more for warming up the back. So medium weight for me. For you, if you've never worked out before, grab a light weight. If you have worked out before, go ahead and grab a medium weight. For me, I'm going kind of light today since I'm teaching, and I'd love for you to go a little bit lighter too. So I'm going to be grabbing 2 8-pound weights for this. Normally I might do 10s, sometimes I might even do 12s, but not for learning, not for today. And I'm just kind of letting you know the weights that I'm using so you can kind of gauge, you'll start to gauge like your weight to my weight, and as we move on through these tutorials. So you're going to take your elbows in alignment with your shoulders. Your fingers are nice and loose. It's like you're lifting something above your head. So you come up, bring the weights together, and come down. Come up and down. Now, I want you to start this movement in the back. You're not using your shoulders right now. I want you to connect to your back and underneath your shoulder blade. It's a very good place to start. Underneath your shoulder blade. So come from underneath. I'm going to turn around so you can see what it looks like from the back. Up and down. The only modification I would give, if you cannot put your hands over your head, do not do this exercise. If for some reason your doctor has told you, or you have an injury that you cannot put your hands over your head, don't do it. Okay, just kind of pass this or march in place through the workout if you see that we're using this movement. That is all there is to an overhead military press. What I really want you to focus on is coming from underneath here and pushing all the way up. So you're coming from underneath. A lot of people grab the weights this way and hammer it up this way. You're only going to hit the shoulders there. So yes, you can use military press for shoulders, but that's not what we're using it in the back. Whenever we're working your back, I'm using it as a warm-up for your back. The next move we're going to go into is a row, and there's so many variations of a row. But the most important thing that you need to know about the row is that it is an exercise for your lats. So right here, your lat muscles. So they're going to be here. And the best way to tap into that is to, when you're pulling up, and I'm going to show you with the weight in a second, when you're pulling up from here. A lot of people would like to take the weight and use the weight to get the movement to happen. And when you're doing that, you're not using your muscle. And you also have a great chance of injury to your muscle. You really have to allow that muscle to engage and to lift. But what you're doing is you're using your arm as a lever to the load, the weight, in order to add more resistance on to that area. Now you can work a muscle with absolutely no weight in your hands. And I have a great story about that, but I want to respect your time today and get on. And one day I will share it, and I might put it on the email. I'm gonna share it on the email that you got this morning. So I hope you read that first. And so it's so important to realize that anything you're doing with resistance training and with weight training, it has to come from the muscle. The weight is just an extra load to allow the muscle to work harder. The arm is just the lever for a back move to allow that muscle to engage. I hope that makes sense. So what we're gonna do is move into a row. Now we're gonna do one at a time. There's a few ways you can do this. I'm gonna show you one. I'll show you about 2 ways because I want you to understand and have that foundation for when we move on. The first one, I'm taking my left leg, putting it forward. My hand is on my leg. I'm hinging at my hip. My hand with the weight is in alignment with my shoe. And what I'm going to do is pull from that area that I was talking about. Then I'm going to allow that muscle to engage all the way down in the downward motion. That's how it looks. Now, if that's too much and you're having trouble controlling that because you can't hold up your body weight, and you might not be able to yet, we're gonna find something. I'm gonna use my sofa to hold on to, and then you're gonna do the same thing. Now, notice my back leg, my heel is off the ground. I'm not trying to keep my leg flat because that is you'll find it's uncomfortable for your calf, and it's not really giving you the foundation that you need for this move. Now, right now, I am completely in that lat area, so you're pulling up, controlling all the way down. And this is where it's coming from. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice. The very first time you do it, I hope you do click into that muscle and activate that muscle. That's amazing, and some people just have that ability. And there's other people that it's a little bit harder for them to feel what I'm talking about. So if that's the case, what I want you to do is just slow it down, close your eyes, and imagine this area is red and everything else is blue. And when you're focusing, when you're bringing it up and down, all your focus is on that area. Now this is like learning how to walk. When you first learn how to walk and you're just taking those steps, you think about every step that you're taking. But as you do this over time with proper foundation and form, you're not going to think about it. That doesn't mean you're not going to have to do form checks on yourself. I still do them 40 years later. So the row, that's what a row, the foundation for a row is. Now we're going to go into a reverse fly. This is one, I don't even think I'm going to use weights for this one as I demo it for you. But let me clean up my workstation here. When you're doing a reverse fly, which is an amazing move for your rhomboids. The rhomboids are the 2 muscles underneath your shoulder blades. And boy, we need to strengthen those right now because driving, computers, cell phones, everything we do is forward. This is also really handy for my estheticians, hairdressers that I train, anybody that does something where they're forward all the time. What happens is the muscles between your shoulder blades become very weak and they start to curve forward. And then all of a sudden you're wondering, why does my upper back hurt all the time? And then all of a sudden the posture will start to change. Instead of having your shoulders exactly where they should be in their neutral place, they start to curve forward. So it's something that you really have to work on. And a reverse fly is such a great way to tap into those muscles if you do it correctly. And I see a lot of people doing it, and I even work with my clients all the time, and I'm constantly fixing that. So I'm gonna give you the basis for this and all the basics for this move. The first thing I want you to see, I'm gonna have you see it from the front, from the side, and from the back. My feet are together. If your feet need to be apart, they can be apart. And that's another thing. You're gonna have to find out where you're foundationally the most secure. So if you like your leg shoulder width and you feel more secure that way, go ahead and do that. I tend to keep my feet together. That's where I feel foundationally secure. But that, just because I'm doing it this way doesn't mean it's right for you. And there's going to be a few things that I might do it and it might look a little bit different for you because your arms are longer, mine are shorter. It's, you know, the science is so wide. And that's why I'm giving you the foundations to work on your own body. And then I'm always available to reach out to if you have any questions. With modern technology, we can hop on and I can see your form and we can talk about it, which is beautiful. So this is what it looks like. A reverse fly, see how my arms are coming up nice and wide? They're not like this, right? I see a lot of people doing flies in here. And you know, at that point, you're really missing out on that opportunity. The farther away your load is, which would be your hand, even if there's no weight in it, the more you engage that muscle. So if you're here, look how close this is to here. It's so close, right? If you can come out here, look how far away it is. So guess what? You're engaging those muscles more. And what you're doing, the goal here is to try to take your shoulder blades and bring them together. So you're pinching them. Like if I were to put my finger, with my clients a lot of times I'll take my finger in between their shoulder blade and I will say pinch my finger. So I want you to have that visualization. So you're down here, you're gonna have your two weights. Now, you're hinging at your hip. A lot of people hinge straight down this way. And that can be hard on a lot of people's backs if your back isn't strong enough. So if you notice, I do a lot of things on an angle, not all the way tipped over. So I see a lot of other kind of training techniques and I see this all the time. Once you get strong enough, then you might be able to do that. Until you're strong enough, at an angle that's perfect. It'll work really well. It's the way I've always done it to protect my lower back. Because if you're all the way over here doing this, after a while, your lower back is gonna start to get tired. But if you're at a nice angle right here, your back you're not getting that stress on your lower back. And that's actually, there's so much more. This move is like one of the most complicated moves. There's this move and one other move that's the most complicated moves I teach. So it's gonna take me a second. So anyway, this is what it looks like from the front. This is what it looks like from the side. This is what it looks like from the back. See how my shoulder blades are coming together? Hopefully you can see them. Let me move my hair out of the way. You can see them coming together. I can feel them coming together. So you take your two weights. I'm gonna take two light weights right now. I want you to take, if you're gonna use weights and kind of demo it with me, I want you to take the lightest weights you have or no weights at all. So you grab your two weights and you lift them up. Now I call it like a wide wing span, like a bird. Because if a bird was trying to fly like this, it would fall, wouldn't it? If you notice the bird, when a bird is flying, their wings are out in full span. That's how I want you. There's a slight bend to my elbow. I want that slight bend for your elbow as well. You're pulling and getting your two shoulder blades together. Okay, hinging at your hip. You don't have to go all the way over. Now, if you want to go all the way over, you can. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you notice that your lower back is starting to hurt, go into that angle. Okay, now we're gonna go right onto the ground. This is a great move for your back and strengthening your back. And this is a move that you could do almost every day. I love those kind of moves. So if you're noticing that your back is feeling really weak or you're having trouble standing, let's say you're standing a lot or you just have this week where you're gonna be on your feet, or you have a lifestyle where you wanna walk and you wanna have a more active lifestyle, but your back just isn't strong enough to support that, this is a wonderful move. You can do it every day. Like I said, you just start off with about 10 reps, work up to 20 reps. We'll go over the reps too when we get to the extra, when we put this all together. So you're laying on right here. Your arms, they could be, ooh, I don't have much room here, do I? Okay, so they could be up here if you want them to be, but I would start them right here to get when you're starting this move. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna just lift your lower and upper body off of the mat. So if you notice, see, my glutes are firing, but I'm feeling it all the way down my spine. So let's do them together. Go ahead and get on the floor, and then let's do about 10 together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, if you could not lift both your lower and your upper together, try one. Just try lifting your upper or try lifting your lower. So we're gonna go on to the biceps now. And I have my weights, I'm kind of getting my little pile back here. The one thing I want to talk to you about your bicep is our biceps are all different lengths, depending on the length of your arm. And you really want to get to know where your bicep is. Where does it start? Where does it end? The best way to find that out is to take your arm and just look down at your arm, and you'll actually see your bicep. So I'm looking at mine right now. So it's from here to here. That would be my range of motion for a forward bicep curl. So I'm gonna stand 2 weights now and go over the forward bicep curl. The things that are important, the things that I really want for your foundation. First of all, your wrists are very important when you're doing anything with your biceps. One of the common things I see is people taking their wrist and doing this. And they're trying to do a bicep curl with their wrist like bent. You can see it, right? This is what we call the neutral. Right here, you're in neutral. That's where I'd love for you to stay. If you're having trouble engaging your biceps, you can curl your fist toward your bicep to get a little bit more of a contraction if you need it. But if you're down here, your poor wrist is taking over all this load. And then you're gonna wonder, why are my wrists so sore every time I work out? So I want you to be mindful of your wrists. So let's start out right here, 90 degrees, arms in a 90 degree, okay? Wrists are nice and neutral. You're gonna bring your arm up. We can see that's where my bicep ends. And then I'm gonna come down here. This is my range of motion for my forward bicep curl. Another thing that's very important about your biceps is that the downward motion, the eccentric motion, is just as important as a concentric upward motion. It's not up and drop, up and drop. That is, you're missing half the movement. So guess what? You're missing half the results. You're coming up and you control all the way down. Up, control all the way down. Up and control all the way down. And if your range of motion, which is how far you're moving, is shorter, that doesn't mean go faster. Stay nice and controlled with a very, very controlled tempo. So this would be exactly what a bicep curl. I hope you're doing this with me. And there we go. Okay, moving on now. Actually, you're gonna keep the same weights in your hands. We're gonna go into the side bicep curls. Now I love these. I call these ego boosters because they kind of show every single muscle we've been working so hard for. You're gonna take your 2 weights and you're gonna take them to the outside. You're gonna bring them up and down. Now what you're doing is you're bringing up your wrist so it comes up toward your shoulder, just like that. So there you go. You're not coming, so your hands are coming in front. So make sure you're doing checks on that. Look down. Are my fists and my shoulders in alignment with each other? And again, downward motion is so important. Squeeze up and then slowly come down. Squeeze up and slowly come down. Then we're going to move on to a hammer curl. Hammer curls, you just hold your hands in neutral. That means they're facing your body. So your palms are facing your body, you're holding onto your weights. You're going to bring them all the way up towards your shoulder, almost touching. Now I have a habit of kind of twisting them out, I noticed, and I do that to kind of engage the bicep more. So you can do that or not do that, it's okay. Either way, you're going to get results. So you come up, see how I kind of just twisted out? I did it again. Come all the way down. Come up, all the way down. Now you don't want your weights up here. I'm even going a little bit high, but I think my forearms are a little bit longer than normal. If you see like the size of me, my arms are pretty long. so you might, obviously I'm going to be coming up a little bit higher. So you bring that up, squeeze your bicep, and then control it all the way down. Bring it up, squeeze, and bring it all the way down. This is a slower tempo move. I like this to be in a slower tempo. I can really engage my biceps that way. Now we're going to go into a concentration curl, which I love these. And there's one more bicep curl that I'm going to be showing you as we move on to get more advanced, and that is my absolute favorite. Your bicep is activated like immediately, but that's coming. I want you to get through these and have this foundation first. And that's it. I'm giving you foundational moves, but we're always going to be building on these to make them more advanced. Okay, you're going to take your elbow, put it right where the seam of your pants would be, and then your fist is going to be in alignment with your shoulder. So you come up, slowly come down, come up, and slowly come down. And that's it, that easy. And then let's do about 4 or 5 on the other side. Elbow right here, seam of your pants, you come up, down. There you go. And if you notice, I'm keeping my eye on what's going on. Always be very engaged with your muscle as you're activating it. Always be very engaged with whatever you're doing. So, if you want to take a break here, let's go ahead and take a break. If not, let's keep going because we're going to go into your legs now. So you can turn it off and come back and finish, or you can continue with me. Okay, now we've gone over the back tutorial and the bicep tutorial, going over your foundation of your form. We're going to move on to the legs. The first move, it's going to be 4 moves today. Now these 4 moves are the foundations of all the leg moves we're going to do. There's so many variations of these moves, but I want you to get the foundation down first before we move on to the variations. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the squat. The squat can be, gosh, I could do an hour tutorial just on the squat alone, but I'm going to give you just a few of the foundations to keep you safe and to make sure that your squats are right on. So the first thing you're going to do, legs shoulder width apart. Now, you're going to want your knees to come straight to the middle of your shoes, which is actually the toe right next to your big toe. So when you're looking down, you want your knees to be in alignment with that area. So they're tracking, it's called tracking. And then from the side, you want to make sure when you're doing your squat that your knee stays over in alignment with your ankle. So I've given you two tracking focals from your knee down to your toe. The only thing I'm gonna do is change this for just a few of us out there. Now I don't have it, but I'm gonna describe it. If you look in the mirror and you stand like this in any variation where your knees come in and your legs come out, that is the way your bone structure is made. You cannot fix that, but you're gonna line up differently in a squat. When you squat, you're gonna take your toes out slightly and your knees are gonna go to the outsides of your shoes. They're still gonna stay above that ankle, but they're gonna go to the outside of your shoe. Now that we've worked with the knee down, we're gonna work with the upper body. So when you're going into a squat, it's literally like you're sitting on a chair. And the best way that you can kind of get the idea of what that's supposed to feel like is by sitting on a chair. So I know I have my fellow Apollo here, so I don't really want to bother him and sit with my body in his face. So I'm going to do it right here. So if you have to, what I want you to do is just sit down and stand up. Just do that about 4 or 5 times and get the feel for that. Now I'm going to ask you to go one step farther. You're going to use your quads to control you to sit down, and you're going to use your quads and your booty to stand up. So now you're going to use your muscles to do the sitting down and standing up. And once you get that, then you're ready to go ahead and sit down and stand up. Now only go as far as your muscles and your flexibility allow you. As you get stronger, you're going to get more flexible and you're going to be able to sit down farther in the squat. But I will tell you, we don't need to break a parallel. And what that is you don't need to bring your bottom below your knees in order to get your muscles to activate and your muscles to change and to tone them. You don't need to do that. And it's hard on a lot of people. Not everybody's knees can handle that. So I don't teach it that way. I like to keep it right around that 90 degree. So there's like a 90 degree. This right here is a 90 degree. Now if you notice, I'm going to try to keep my torso up as straight as possible. My back is flat. I'm not leaning over. So you don't want to lean over, but everybody's torso is a different length. So some people can do that perfect, beautiful, where they sit and they just keep their torso up nice and straight, chin up. You're going to notice other people look like they're coming down a little more. And when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, I want you to figure that out. You're going to just stand to the side and look and kind of get an idea for what that is for you. So it depends on how long and how the length of your spine. So let's go ahead and do 10 squats together. I know I threw a lot of information. Like I said, this could be an hour-long video all on its own, but we do have other legs we want to get to today. So let's go ahead and just do 10 squats together. So down, quads, glutes up. And when I teach my clients, and when I'm teaching you, you're my client now. Is that great? You're my client now. I love that. So when I'm teaching my clients, I always say it's almost a centrifugal, meaning it's coming down and up. So it's almost like a bicycle going forward. I know if that might not make sense to you, but it really helps a lot of my clients to understand. So you're coming down and you're coming up. So you're not jamming down and jamming up. I want it to be kind of a more fluid motion for you. I guess that would be a much better way. And it's kind of, you should be going this way. So it's coming down and up, down and up. So now let's do 10 together. 1, hands in your center. 2, squeezing that booty on the top. 3, quads are working all the way down and up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's it. We did it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and teach lunges. Now, lunges are interesting. Again, we just want to get the foundation right. We don't need any weights, so I'm going to push them to the side. Also, whenever you go to get your weights, don't stand and straight lean over. You're going to end up hurting your back one day. Always just kind of bend your legs to pick them up. And then when you grab them, stand up with them. Just a side note. So now if you notice when I'm putting them down, that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, now that I said that, moving on to lunge. The lunge is interesting because I will see a lot of people kind of bobbling around and having a lot of balance issues with lunges. And that can be solved very easily. So legs should start off shoulder width, right? Hip width. So wherever your hips are, wherever your legs come down. If you don't walk, when we don't walk like this, right? What do? We walk with our legs hip width apart. That's how you're going to be in your lunge. So putting one foot forward, the other back up on your toe with your heel off the ground. If you notice, my hips are in alignment. So that's very important. You don't want to put your foot behind the other foot because then even I'm having trouble balancing. And at this point, what you're doing is you're just taking your joints and moving them around in really odd ways and odd angles. And you're going to notice the biggest reason is because of your balance. It's just not going to be good for your balance. And you're not going to really be able to get into your quads and your glutes and all the things that we want to. And you're going to notice that your knees might hurt. So very important to say that hip width, and it could be shoulder width, but sometimes if I say shoulder, people come out too wide. So hip width. And I'm going to say one more thing on that. I always call it like a kickstand. Your back leg is your kickstand for your bicycle. If you just put a bicycle on the two wheels and tried to have it stand there, it's going to fall right over, right? That's why you have a kickstand. So that back leg is your kickstand. And now I'm going to show you from the side. You're going to take one leg back, heel is up off the ground, right? And then back leg leads, front leg follows. You're going to feel it in this quad, and guess what? We get the bonus booty. So we always, we'll take the booty anytime we can get it, right? I'm going to show you from the other way. This is my front leg. You're going to come out. Make sure that I'm lined up. My back leg doesn't feel like it's back far enough. Now I'm only 5'2", just so you know, but my legs are longer than my torso, so I'm going to have a longer span. Depending on how long your legs are to your torso is going to tell how far back your leg is going to be, but you want it to be comfortable. You don't want to be reaching back. So if it seems like I'm reaching back, I'm not. That's just the actual length of my legs. You want it to be a very natural length. So back leg bends, front leg follows. Now, I'm in my back leg more than I'm in my front leg on this side. So what I'm going to do is really just put my hands there and focus on activating this muscle. So you can, if you have trouble activating a muscle, if you put your hand on it, it activates 20% more, just to see that. That's another hint. Throwing so much at you. You're going to get a lot from these tutorials, but I'm so excited. I love teaching. Can you tell? Okay, let's do 10 on each side just to get the hang of it. Down and up for 1, 2, 3, heel up in the back, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, last one, and 10. Now, if you noticed in the middle, maybe you weren't because you were focusing on yourself, I was adjusting myself throughout the movement. It's okay to do that. If something doesn't feel right, adjust to it. You don't have to just stay in one place, and if it doesn't feel good, keep going. Readjust, reanalyze. Get to know your body. Other side, down and up. 1, torso's nice and straight. I always say strong and tall posture no matter what. 8, 2 more. 9, last one. And 10. How did that feel? I hope it felt great. Because it's just, you know, someone asked me, what's the best move for my legs? And it was a woman. And I said, well, there's 3. Lunges, lunges, and more lunges. So lunges are, they are a very big part of changing your thighs. So the soft tissue, the soft mold right here in your thighs. Okay, you're gonna come out, toes are out. We're gonna move on to the sumo, or you can call it a plie. It's called, I've heard it be called both things. Not a true dancing plie, but fitness plie. Okay, so your toes are out all the way. And then you can come up on your toes. So we're just gonna do it on our heels today. You're gonna come down into like a 90 degrees. So what I'd like to say, I'm gonna move back. This mat is very, very, very slippery. So I'm gonna open up as wide as I can, and I'm gonna try to make a box with my body and then stand up. Now, knees are in alignment with the middle of my shoe, and when I come down, my knees are gonna be in alignment with my ankle. So those are the 2 things, keeping your torso nice and straight. Now, it's interesting with a sumo, you're sitting slightly back, not all the way. So you're just coming straight down and up. Down and up. The only thing you don't want to do is push your pelvis forward and come forward and up, because I'll see people doing that. So make sure your pelvis is either going straight down into the ground, like your spine is coming straight down into the ground, or it can be slightly tilted back if you need to. Maybe there's a flexibility issue going on in your back that pulls you back. That's okay. So let's come down. And it doesn't mean that's an issue you have to worry about. 2. I should have called it something different. Okay, so take your legs out and let's do 10 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, last one, and 10. Okay, the next move I'm going to show you is going back to the very beginning into the squat. But why I wanted to separate it is because there's something going on in the squat that I told you not to do in the first squat. This is a static squat or a squat hold. So you're going to hold it for a certain amount of time. Again, legs are shoulder width. Your hands come straight down to the floor and you hold. But if you notice, my torso is bent forward. It has to be bent forward in order for this to happen. And usually I will tell you to keep your back straight. You might have to have a slight round in your back just to be able to get your hands to the ground. Now, if you're not strong enough yet to hold your hands onto the ground, you can't go down that far. Just stop right here and hold. And then when you're strong enough, come all the way down and hold. I'm going to show you what it looks like from the side. And then I'm going to count you out to 10 and let's hold together. So bottom back, just have your hands slide right down into the floor and hold. Belly button into your spine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And slowly come up. I'm sure you felt a little bit of burn in your thighs. So that's the leg tutorial for today. That's the foundation of the legs, and we're going to go off with all kinds of variations, but really get to know this stuff about your legs. If you have to go back over these videos with this form video, use it as much as you need to. If something doesn't feel right, go back and look. If that still doesn't feel right, reach out to me. I'm here to help you. Okay, now it's time to move on to 2 basic ab and core exercises. So we're gonna be down on the mat. The first one is the crunch. So many people will say crunches don't work, crunches don't work. We kind of went through that phase and people realize that yes, they can work if they're done correctly. So it's very important that you're not doing it on a hard surface, that you have a soft surface. My favorite place to do a crunch would be on my bed. So I didn't really want to bring the camera into my bedroom for this, so I'm doing it on a mat on the floor. But you can do your crunches in your bed, but if we're going in through a workout, you can't really just run into your bedroom for the crunches. So that's something you can do on your own. Now, feet are gonna be shoulder width apart. You lay down, hands behind your head. Now, if you notice, I'm not laying on the ground. My head is up, my shoulder blades are off the mat or off the floor or off your bed. Now you're just going to take your ribs into your hips. So ribs into hips and come back halfway back. So ribs. Now if you notice, I'm not coming all the way to the floor and up and all the way to the floor. And why I'm not doing that is because I really want you to keep your neck in neutral. I don't want your neck flopping back and forth because you'll hurt your neck. So it's from here. Your goal right now with your upper body is to get your shoulder blades off the mat each time without leading from your neck or your head. And how you're gonna do that is by your ribs coming close to your hip bones, rib bones, hip bones. It has to lift, right? You can't, if you're trying to do, there's no way you're gonna get those together without lifting your upper body. So you're just gonna come up and down. Now I'm feeling my stomach in the very first 2 or 3 reps because I'm pulling from here, not from here. So let's get on the ground if you're not on the ground already, and let's do 10 together, keeping that in mind. And if you're not feeling your stomach, I want you to close your eyes and focus as much as you can on all the muscles, bringing your ribs to your hips, not using your neck. Here we go. 1, 2, and fingers are not touching each other. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. How'd you do? The other thing I'm gonna show you, and I do this with, like I said, with you because you're my client. I can teach you this. I'm so excited. Okay, your hands are behind your head, but they're not touching. So they're not like this. They're here. They're not touching each other. They're wrapped over here. And why I do that, and why I teach it that way, is when your hands are cradling your neck, you're gonna have a tendency to pull from your neck. When you're just lightly touching your head, you're supporting your head, but you're not pulling from your head. Now, I will give you one more thing that I have done with my clients that has worked really well. For anyone that's having trouble, because even this little small motion right here is hurting their neck, take your thumbs and put your thumbs right underneath your earlobe. You're gonna feel there's an indentation by your, kind of where your jawline starts, and then kind of vice grip the back of your heads and that jawline together, and you're gonna be able to support your neck completely. And if you look, my range of motion isn't very high, but my stomach is on fire. So if you're really having a hard time with your neck, try that too. Now, as we get more advanced, this is what I'm gonna want you to do, is lift your legs up into a tabletop off of the mat, and then lift your torso up toward your knees. So as soon as you're ready, go ahead, pick up your feet and lift your torso. Two more. And great job. The last, I'm only gonna give you two abdominal and core moves today. We will go on and have a whole core tutorial on another day. So you'll see where we're going in a second with this. I always have a destination. I always have a start, middle, and end to everything that we're doing. And you'll understand in a second. So what I'm gonna have you do now is go ahead on your forearms. You're either gonna be on your knees or up on your toes, and we're just gonna do a simple plank, holding your belly button into your spine, and you just hold. You can do it on your knees as well. The biggest mistake I see with a plank is people just get up there and kind of hang out. they just kind of set themselves in place, and they just kind of here I am, just planking. But you have to really engage the muscles. They're not going to engage themselves. This isn't, because there's no movement going on. It's static. It's a static hold. So you have to engage all the muscles in your core area, but the plank uses your core, your quads, your thighs, it's your upper body, your shoulders, everything. So we're gonna go back into a plank. Let's do it together. If you have to do it on your knees because you're not strong enough to do it on your toes, that is fine, because you're gonna get there. So forearms on the ground, toes out, belly button locked into your spine. Your shoulders are tight, right? They're holding you up. Your chest is activated. Your belly button is into your spine. Your back is activated. Your thighs are lifted. So imagine that. Your thighs are lifting toward your bone. And hold. So you're gonna hold for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And there you go. They're awesome. Planks are great. They're great foundations, because as we get your core stronger, then we can do more. There's so many variations off of a plank. A mountain climber. That is a variation off of a plank. All these things that I'm showing you are foundational moves in order to get you to be able to do other moves. So how do we put this together to a workout? Go ahead, have some water, and then when you have time, come on back, and we're gonna do a real workout using every single move I just showed you today. Okay, are you ready to put all these moves together and have a workout? Let's do this. We're gonna start with your overhead press. I'm gonna be counting you out. We're gonna be doing 12 reps today with a rest. Now what we're doing today is called split training. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 2 sets of every single move with a rest in between. So it's, first you're gonna, whatever move you're doing, you're gonna rest, do that move again, then we move to the next exercise. Eventually what we're gonna do is we'll start mixing them all up together, but that's not today. Today is your first one. It's just giving you a chance to really understand and get the foundation moves down, but you're gonna get a workout too. So go ahead and grab a light to a medium weight, depending, because it's gonna be an overhead press. I'm gonna be giving you time to change your weights if you need them. So make sure that you have a few different kinds of weights to get started. Okay, I'm going to grab my weight. So grab the weight that you feel comfortable with for an overhead military press. If you don't remember what that is, elbows are next to your shoulders. You come up and all the way down. And this when fingers are loose, it's almost like you're putting something above your head. So you're pushing something above your head using the muscles in your back. So let's go for 12 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, come down and rest. You can even put your weights down. So if you have to get a different weight, go ahead and get it. Just bring everything down for about 20 seconds, and we're gonna do that same move again. Focusing on warming up your whole entire back. And thinking about all the different clues and all the different guides and all the different cues I gave you when it comes to this move. Okay, grab your weights again. Now if you notice, I bent down to pick them up. I did not straight leg and bend at my back to pick them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, last one, and 12. Okay, we're gonna be moving to the row. So I'm gonna take this and move this out of the way. We don't need this right now. It's getting in the way. So I'm just gonna put it there. Now, we can use the sofa or something to hold on to, or you can just use your body weight on this. But because we are just starting out and I'm just teaching you the foundation, I'm gonna go ahead and put my hand on the sofa. Now the sofa's a little bit lower. You can put your hand on a kitchen counter, on the back of a chair, something, it doesn't matter, you know, and the higher you go, the easier you're gonna find out that it is. The lower you go, the more your lat's gonna activate. So I'm gonna take my one leg, put it forward. My other hand is on the sofa. My weight is right next to, hey buddy, my weight is right next to my shoe, and I'm gonna draw it up and down. So grab your weight and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now take and put your other foot in front. We're going right into it. Because we've rested this side, now we're going to do the other side. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, your mind is on your lat. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, to the other side, this is the area that you're pulling from. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, to the other side we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, last one, and 12. Okay, so now we're gonna go into reverse flies. You can go down and wait if you want to. I'm gonna go down and wait. This is the one where you have the wingspan. This is the move that we're gonna be using your upper back, your rhomboids. This is the move that helps you get your upper back nice and strong. So I'm gonna show you from the side, show you from the front, 12 reps with a slight rest, and then we do it again. So your hands are right here together, and you open, bringing your shoulder blades together. That's the move that we're gonna do. Let's go for 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. How'd that feel? Did you feel your two shoulder blades coming together? Were your arms out nice and wide with that wide wingspan that you have? I hope so. If you do, you can really feel it. Okay, just take about 10 more seconds. I'm gonna face you for the second set. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna grab the mat. You're gonna be laying on your mat. We're gonna go into the Supermans. So you're lifting for 12. And actually for the Supermans, we're only gonna lift for 10. We're gonna take a small rest going into child's pose and we're gonna do it again. So follow along. You have, hopefully by now you've got your mat out and you're ready to go. Your hands are in a 90 right here. Your legs are out and you're gonna lift for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Oops, I went to 12. So come on back into child's pose, stretch that out. Inhale, exhale, do it again, and coming forward. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, excellent. Now it's time to go into our biceps. So make sure you grab whatever you want, whatever weight you want for your biceps. Keep the mat out if you have it because we're going to need it for the concentration curl. So I'm going to grab my 2 weights. We're going to go into forward bicep curls for 12 reps. Rest and do it again. The forward bicep curl is the one where you take a little bit shorter of a range of motion and really find that ball of your bicep. So here we go. 1, make sure the downward motion. 2 is just as important as the upward motion. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Bring it down. You're going to do it again. So just go ahead and take a couple breaths. Inhale, blow it out. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, don't white knuckle the weight. 3, fingers are nice and loose. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, last one, and 12. Okay, go ahead and rest. You can even put your weights down. We're gonna move on to the side bicep curl next. Inhale, blow it out. Just important to keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. I see it all the time. I'll see lips turning blue. And I have to remind my clients to breathe. So I'm reminding you to breathe. Come on up and up to the side. 2, 3. Do you remember this one that we worked with in the tutorial? 2 more. Okay, longer range of motion, right? Remember, the downward motion is so important on any kind of a bicep curl, whether it's forward, side, wherever it is. The downward motion. Upward's important, then you squeeze the bicep, and then you control all the way down. Here we go again. Excellent. Okay, we're going to move on to the hammer curl. Hammer curls are where your hands are in neutral facing your legs. You come all the way up, all the way down. This is when you don't want to have the weight climb above your shoulder. I know sometimes I have a habit of when I get to the top of twisting to the outside. Try to keep it straight. I'm always trying to keep it straight. But even after doing this for as long as I have, I still have those little tiny, I'm not gonna injure myself, but those just like little tiny nuances of the way that I do it. And you're gonna find that you have your own as well as you get started and get more experienced in lifting. Okay, here we go. Come all the way up. Yeah, I did it right away. 1. There we go. 2, 3, 4. Nice and slow. So it's a slower move. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. At this point, you should be starting to feel your biceps. I sure hope you are. If you can't, close your eyes and really focus on activating them. Even if you have a very light weight, you should be able to activate your muscle with no weight. Pretty cool, right? But today we're using a little bit of load to help us along the way, but you have to use it the right way. So let's go. Next set, shoulders depressed, meaning you don't want your shoulders up high, you want to kind of depress them down. Let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, last one, and 12. Okay, excellent. Now we're gonna go into the concentration curls. So you're gonna be down here on your mat. You put one leg out. Your elbow is gonna be on the seam of your pants, or where the seam would be. And you're gonna come down and up. 1, fist to shoulder. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now you move right to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, back is flat right here, 9, no, don't curl it, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, we're gonna go right to the other side. No rest, because we already rested on this side, but we're working on that side. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, last one, 12. More. Okay, we have finished with the upper body, with your back and with your biceps. Okay, so the first leg move we're going to do is the squat. Now I'm going to move this down just a little bit because we are going to do the first squat with the sofa. So we're going to go to 16 reps. Legs are going to be a little bit wider or shoulder width apart. You're going to sit down and then come up and squeeze your quads and your glutes at the same time. So let's go down and up. 1, 2. Make sure you're really squeezing. 3, 4, 12, 3 more. 2 more. And excellent. Now I'm going to do them facing you. And we're going to go and do the 16 reps again in the squats. Remember, we're doing 2 of everything. This is a workout where we just go from one move to the other. So it's called split training. Okay, let's go. Down and up, because we're splitting everything up. 2, up. 3, really squeezing the thighs. 4 more, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so now it's time for your lunges. Move this back. You're gonna take your legs hip width, one leg in front of the other, back leg bends, front leg follows. Let's go. Down and up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6 more. 2 more. And switch to the other side, making sure you're that hip width apart. Here we go. Two more. Okay, up. And then I'm going to show you to the side. So you can see what it looks like from the side. One leg comes back. Heels off the ground. Posture nice and straight. I'm going to just sit into it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 2 more, 15, and 16. Okay, now my other leg is going to be in front. And here we go. 1, 2 sets of each. Now we're going to go into our sumo. So toes are out nice and wide. We're going to do the first set with your heels on the ground. The second, we're going to take it a little bit more advanced and take your heels off the ground if you want to. You really feel that inner thigh. So here we go. Make sure your pelvis isn't going forward, but it's going straight down to the ground or a little bit behind you, but not forward. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, squeezing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Go ahead and rest for a second. And then we're going to do that one more time. How are you feeling going through this? Split training is fantastic for when you're first learning how to use weights in proper form and technique. And you know, I'll take clients that have been training for years and I'll take them back to a workout like this where we start right back to the foundations of exercise and they're so sore the next day. So it's one of those workouts that really allows you to really get in and activate the muscles that we're working. Let's go. I'm going to put my heels up off the ground. If you want to, join me on this. And down and up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 2 more, 15, last one, and 16. Excellent. We're going to go into our last move. This is the holding or the static squat, where you just hold and let you catch your breath for a second. Okay, legs are going to be shoulder width. You're just going to take your hands, you're going to travel down to the floor if you can get to the floor, as long as you're keeping your back flat. There could be a little rounding if you have to reach, but that's it. If you can't get all the way down because your legs are not strong enough, go down as far as you can, and we're just going to hold. And I'm going to count to 20. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, keep going, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Come on up. Yeah, we could have gone a little longer, right? Had to go that 25. So your quads should be burning on that. You should really be able to activate your quads. Now the fun thing is, what's going to happen is we're going to take all of these moves that you're learning together and that we're kind of split training, doing one at a time. And that's when I start kind of putting them together and creating new workouts. So this is just the beginning part. This is your foundation of where we're heading. I love to do this when I start somebody in my fitness program of Hello Muscle, because what I want to do is I want to get their foundation ready first. Because if I have their foundation ready first, then wherever we go, I know that their form is on point. Okay, let's go again. This time, I think I'm going to count to 30 because I think you can do it. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Stand up. Okay, if they're not burning now, yeah, hopefully they're burning a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, at least a little bit. Okay, now it's time to work on your stomach. I brought out just the 2 basics to start with, which would be a crunch and a plank. So you're gonna do your crunch first. Now for your crunch, we're gonna go to 25 reps. So I'm gonna count you out for 25. If your neck is starting to hurt or something's going on, we discussed all of that in the form part of this video. So you know what to do. Here we go for 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, just go ahead and rest. We'll do that one more time for 25. Hopefully you're taking your ribs to your hips and you're feeling your stomach. Okay, here we go. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 25 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we're gonna roll over. So if you need to, if you have a weaker neck or you're known to have neck issues, just pick up your neck this way, just kind of hold it. Okay, now we're gonna roll over onto your forearms and we're gonna go into a plank. When we're doing this plank, you can do it on your knees or on your toes. I'm gonna be doing it on my toes. I'm going to count out to 25. Now remember, when you're doing a plank, keep everything tight and even take your thighs and just kind of try to lift them up to the thigh bone. It's a really cool sensation if you can do that. So you're working your legs, your booty should be engaged, your chest should be engaged, your shoulders should be engaged, it should be everything. So let's go. I'm gonna count to 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, come on back into child's pose and just hold. Okay, come forward and let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, you're gonna come back into child's pose. Now we're gonna come up. You're gonna grab both your feet and you're going to lift them off the mat, stretching out your quad area. If you don't have the flexibility to grab your feet, you can do one, or you can take a towel to help you. So you wrap the towel and lift. And you're gonna come up. Take both legs, putting them out in front of you. Cross one leg over the other. Take your elbow on the inside and just twist. Other side. Twist. And then what you're going to do is take one leg, come on up, other leg, stand up. Just roll yourself over, pull your toes. Come on up, take a big breath, blow it out. That's it. I know this seems like a long video. This week there's going to be a lot of learning, but I'm trying to get you ready for next week. So when we dive into the workouts, you're ready to go over this video as many times as you need to get the proper form and technique. It's my job to make sure that you know each and every one of these moves before you move on. So I hope you had a great day learning about your body, using your body, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow.